Hello, good afternoon. We are still, alas, Cripps and Clarke, but actually, look at us both. We're actually, alas, Cripps and Clarke. No Queens, no Churchills, none of that. We are who we are today. And we are going to look at our 55 years worth of combined recruitment experience and talk about the terminology and the language that we use in this wonderful industry of ours. But we're going to give it a slightly more up-to-date twist in terms of the current climate. So in other words, we're going to look at some recruitment terms and terminology and give our little COVID twist on it. And we're going to take it in turns. I'm going to start off with an old favourite. That's not Angela. It's ABC, which we all know and love as Always Be Closing. But ABC is anyone bored with coronavirus? ABC, that's what we're going to have now. There's been so much talk about coronavirus. No one has even talked about Hurricane Dennis anymore, or Kira, or Jose, dare I say Brexit. So ABC from now on is Always Be Coronavirus.
Okay, let me pick up on AI then. So AI has a very different meaning now. I think always inside. That all speaks for itself, apart from our 2 opportunities to go out and do some exercise every day. Now, believe it or not, before we started in recruitment, Alan and I did have other jobs, and he did explain to me about what AI meant to him when he was 16. Take it away, Alan.
Well, 16, and yes, I do remember that far back. 16, working on a dairy farm, driving tractors, milking cows, and watching the AI man do what he was paid to do. Yes, he performed artificial insemination. Now it has a completely different meaning now, AI, and your arm doesn't get as mucky. So probably too much on that one. Let's change it really quickly to ATS, which is an applicant tracking system. I'm going to change that. We're not going to use applicant tracking system anymore. We're going to say all together safely. There you go. That's going to be it from now on. And of course, do that from a virtual distance or a safe distance.
Right, on to the B's. Let's talk about Bob behind our backs. Oh, God, yeah. You know, when you put someone forward and you find out later they're working for a company, you ring up and you speak to them and you went, wait a minute, I put you for that interview. So behind our backs, that's what our clients use. But now we're going to change it to bring our opportunities back. So the opportunities to go for a nice meal, to go to the cinema, to have dinner with friends, to go to a show, to go to the theatre. And I've just realised, actually, I said bring our opportunities back. I made a boob. Yeah,
you did. I was waiting to do my link for Bob, saying, yeah, you can't trust Bob, can you? In fact, Bob I wouldn't touch with a BP. And BP is what some people put against candidates' names, and that is a barge pole. Wouldn't touch the barge pole, particularly the Bobs. But now we're going to say that BP equates to, and I'm going to do an NHS reference again, BP is going to be brilliant people. And look, there are so many programs and news clips about what these people are doing, and any gripes and groans that I have, I just watch those programs and it just puts everything back in my perspective box. That's my PB, which just so happens to be a reversal of BP. So BP, brilliant people.
Very clever. Right then, let's move on to C. Contingency, we use it all the time in recruitment, but it does sort of mean something different outside. It is that backup plan. And I am hoping that governments do have a backup plan. Please say you've got a backup plan as well. But the thing is, any plan that they come up with, they're not going to please everyone. I think we've seen that this week, haven't we? But you try and create a plan that actually satisfies all industries, all nationalities, all beliefs, all faiths, and 67 million personalities. Yeah, bit of a tough ask.
That is a tough ask, and yet some recruiters say that CRM is a tough task, you know, customer relationship management. You think, seriously? You know, it's just a question of keeping in touch with your clients and your candidates. But our sort of twist on this for CRM is going to be caring really matters. So caring really matters in terms of your clients as well as your customers, your candidates, and of course your other halves and your loved ones, family. But caring really matters for yourself. You've got to take care of yourself, both physically and mentally. Even if it's just thinking about going to do some exercise, That's a good start.
That's me. I've been thinking about doing Joe Wicks since day one.
I'm going to have to interrupt you there, Angela. When this goes out, you just said that you wanted to do Joe Wicks right from the start. You do know he's married.
It's a bit of exercise, at least. I live alone. Think about it. Right. So where were we? CVs. CVs, obviously, is a term in every recruiter's day-to-day life, but I think that term is going to get overtaken. That CV is now coronavirus. That's it.
Yes, it is. Everyday language. And I think other sort of 2-letter abbreviations, some 3-letter abbreviations in everyday recruiter language are what we use for decision makers. So DMs, LMs, line managers, HAs, hiring authorities. We've got plenty of these. As long as they are the MAN, the man, they've got to have the money, the authority and the need. So, you know, we talk about these abbreviations, but outside of recruitment, we do need decision makers. We need to listen to the decision makers, people in government, people with the medical background and experience, and the scientists. That's who we should be listening to, the decision makers, not the Daily Mail online, not the people that want to make news for themselves, not the fake news creators. And I'm now going to get off my soapbox.
Oh, Alan, it sounds like you need a DBM to me.
I do.
No, this isn't. Normally it's your dominant buying motives that we do in BD. Oh, BD, we missed that. Business development. Now what we need is a daily back massage. These chairs are not work chairs, are they? This leather chair is definitely not a work chair. And I have to be really careful if I happen to get up and down, because when I sit on it, look, it's a really funny air out sound. I think I'll call it that. But yeah, it's not me, honest, it's the chair.
Yeah, you see, I'm actually not sure if I believe you, Angela, and I love the air out. Somebody else would have said, but we didn't. I don't believe you, the same as not believing somebody who is marked on the database as a DNTU. Yes, the people that did not turn up. So I'm going to not talk about those. I'm going to talk about DNTU as do not touch us. Mm-hmm. Unless, of course, you are fully PPE'd, in which case, feel free, touch away.
PPE, there's another one, another abbreviation in there. But right, let's talk about the DNUs then, which on the database is the do not use. Remember those ones? Or sign DNU next to them. But now it's more about do not use transport, public transport. Don't use the tube. Don't get on a bus. Don't travel. I mean, who's doing any traveling at the moment?
Yeah, wouldn't it be brilliant to have a holiday, a fab holiday right now? Now, in terms of fab, we all know that to be in recruitment, features, advantages and benefits. But Alex is on here, so it's going to be features, explanations and benefits, but that's only for people that do fab holidays in Feb. So FAB is now going to be, and it wouldn't have worked for this anyway, Alex.
Yeah.
FAB is now going to be forget about beaches, forget about Barbados, you know, forget about, you know, that lying there on the beach, lazing away, cocktail in your hand, the sun on your chest,
oh, shut up,
sand in your toes, the water trickling up. Sorry, go on.
All right, stop it now. You're getting me thinking about FBAs at that point, which is free booze, anyone?
Oh, yes, please.
Yes, please. Rather than it being the normal features, benefits and accomplishments, which, let's face it, doesn't sound quite as good as free booze, anyone, does it?
Yeah. Don't get me started on booze. Do you know what? I haven't been to the bottle bank so much in my life. There's absolutely, or put it this way, I've got no chance. This is going to be my NFC, right? No chance of becoming a teetotaler, not the amount of bottles of booze we're getting through. So another meaning for NFC is going to be, it's nearly Friday night, chaps. Well, actually, that's got another N in it, but don't worry, you know what I mean. But this, I mean, is anyone else losing count of the days in their current job?
Job? Oh my God, yes. So that used to wind me up when people found their own job, fudge. Do you remember the people being fudged?
I do.
OJs. But now I think it means furloughing of job, unfortunately. So do it from there. New word, new experience for a lot of people. But even if they didn't find their own job, it was worth then a EQC, FUC, the follow-up call. Although we didn't always have that, it could now mean FUC. What could it be? Furlough until Christmas, anyone? Just a thought. Could be a very quiet one, maybe a silent night. We might be doing too soon. Okay, but I mean, we might save some money this Christmas.
Yes, you could do actually. Money, of course, is going to go hand in hand with our next one, which is GMP, gross marginal profit. I think GMP, though, as an up-to-date meaning, could be government making plans. I mean, look, they've got to, haven't they, surely? I suspect they've got plans going from A right the way through to Z, probably. Well, when I say probably, hopefully.
Hope that they've got plans. I mean, let's hope that they've got plans for when that vaccine comes through, that they've already produced it all, and there's millions of opportunities for people to get a vaccine straight away. Well, that's a big hope, isn't it, unfortunately? So we used to have on the database IMAB, which was immediately available. So yeah, IMABs that were immediately available. But I think at the moment that most people are going to be, I move after virus or I move after vaccine.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be the key one there.
Absolutely, and I think this is why IR35 is still relevant, even though it's been put on the back burner. Isn't that funny? IR35 has been furloughed. I never thought of that. So forget about the 35 part, but IR for me means isolation remains. Okay, if we're still listening to our government, the one thing that is clear is that social distancing is working, but so too is the close monitoring of the stats.
Stats, KPI, we're on gaze. You know I love a KPI, but the KPIs at this point means keep people inside.
Yes.
That's what the stats say.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this leads on to the lockdown. And although lockdown isn't necessarily a phrase that is used in recruitment a lot, unless of course you hear managers saying, right, have you locked down that client yet? Have you got your terms of business? Have you got some sort of, commitment? And we all know what lockdown means right now. And I think lockdown is very different to a lock-in. Never had one of those. And it's also very different to a lock up, and I certainly don't want to be in that situation. And it's also very different to a what's the last one?
Lock out.
A lockout. This is what happens when you lose your way on the script. This is what happens when you've had a lock-in, you've had too many drinks, and you get locked out.
You started drinking a lot before me today. You're already on there. Right, we're on to our RMs. Marketing placeable candidates, MPCs. There's lots of terminology for good candidates. So you've got golden nuggets, silver bullets, shit hot candidates, top candidates, hot candidates, superstars. And you know where I'm going with this. All of these are our frontline workers. So our NHS, the care staff, all the frontline workers. Yeah, you are the golden nuggets and you're worth your weight in gold.
Yeah, I think worth, value, money, and of course, if you want to link it to our terminology, NFI, net fee income. But nowadays, the NFI is going to be no freaking idea. I've got absolutely no freaking idea what's going to happen next. And it's not as if that there's a blueprint for the government to use, is it? It's not as if there's a preferred list of things to say, right, okay, 2 weeks in on COVID, this is what we need to do now. And that sort of preferred list got me thinking about all these other preferred lists in recruitment. We call them PSLs, but we know about PSLs. So we're going to change that. We're going to change PSLs to please save lives. All of a sudden it got a bit serious. Yeah, do what you're told, because if you don't do what's told, this could all become permanent.
Permanent. I was a permanent recruiter when I started. My clients did get a bit confused though, because when I rang up and said I did perms, they thought I was a hairdresser. That's a true story. I went, you're a hairdresser. No, although people are doing their hair. They're definitely not doing perms. That's too dangerous. But people are doing their roots. Holly Willoughby, I think, did it online the other day. As you can see, I'm definitely not doing mine. Quite proud of those. I've got to wait till July the 9th. That's my appointment for my hairdresser to sort that out. I had a really good go at my boyfriend's at the weekend, though. I did him a Joe Exotic. I'll see if I can get a picture. It looked really impressive. So long hair, roots, dodgy haircuts. It's like being back in the 80s.
Yeah, and in fact 70s for me. This is look at this, look at that. I can flick now. My hair is all over the place, right? And this is the only thing I can think of for linking this to placement. My hair's all over the place. Oh, placement, deals. And let's link that to today's NHS workers. They have to go to places that may be not too far from them or not too close to them. They have to go to places wherever they are needed to do what is necessary.
Yeah. So I think a few weeks ago, well, it must have been a month ago, that I talked about my daughter's on placement in A&E in the red COVID. She finishes today. Yay. I'm really pleased about that. Finally got through that placement. Right. So delivering what's necessary, working to a plan, according to a plan. You know, I love a plan. So we've got QBPs, ABPs, CDPs. Yeah, let's change that terminology. So rather than a quarterly business plan, we've now got quit being plonkers.
Yes, agreed.
And instead of an annual business plan, we've got your absolute bloody plonkers. The drink's kicking in now. CDPs, client development plans, clear distance, please. I think that's clear.
Yeah, I think we need to have clarity, and this is why we have brilliant training providers like, dare I say it, I'm going to do this just to cover all bases. And of course, you know, Alex is on here from the wonderful recruiting gym and all those concerned. But look, there's other training providers, there's regulatory bodies, there's APSCO, IOR, there's the REC, and I'm not going to try and think of links for all of them. I'm just going to take the REC because I thought that one was quite easy. And it's going to be, instead of REC, it's going to be rest, exercise, and chocolate.
Look at this, guys. I'm a chocoholic. I bought 2 of these. I've got through 3/4 of one in about 4 days. So 650 grams. Anyone that's a chocoholic like me, get onto Thornton's because they're selling them off for like 1/3 of the price. It's really heavy. Well, so I definitely need to get on Joe Wicks.
You definitely do. So rest, exercise, chocolate, and look, try and squeeze some work in somehow. I mean, I need to try and, you know, retain some form of work element in my day.
Oh, okay. Nothing there to retain our retainers. Hopefully that wasn't too obvious, but plan words, retaining something, keeping something in, something back. Good up-to-date meaning for that, although I am going to change one letter and make it remain. But I'm not talking about Brexit here. We've done that past.
Yes, remain in this fight to beat ROI. Now, you might be thinking return on investment, but I'm going to change that for you now. This is a really bad one. We need to stay in this fight to beat off this really horrible infection. Sorry, all I can come up with for ROI.
Oh dear, what have you been doing? Stop lazing about. That's my link to SLAs, as good as I can get it. So keep mentally active, keep physically active.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think, and still make effort. You see, SMEs, not what you're thinking, not your small to medium-sized enterprises, not your subject matter experts, but you've got to still make effort to, you know, fight your way through the market changes, to fight the way through this disease, you know, and just stop wasting time.
Yes, stop being a TWA. And I didn't miss a letter off the end there. It's a time-wasting a-hole. So I'm going to change TWA to the week ahead. Let's look forwards instead. So Alan, what are you up to in the week ahead?
I'm glad you asked, actually. What am I doing next week? I think I'm going to try a little bit of WFH, a little bit of working from home, just by way of a change. But I'm going to change that because we're almost at the end there. So I'm going to say WFH, I'm going to give you a choice. You can either say we feel helpless or we feel hopeful. Which one are you?
Definitely hopeful. Always a hope. So I hope that this hasn't been a waft, which is a waste of effing time.
I missed my bleep.
So to finish on a positive waft, then we can change that to we'll overcome fighting this.
So yeah, all of a sudden I started to channel a little bit of Winston there, and I'm going to finish on one final one. It's slightly out of alphabetical order, but it is TTFN. In other words, ladies and gents, ta-ta for now, and see you on the next one.